Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary Kay from Country Music Matters, and with us this morning we have the handsome Arkansas boy, Lance Carpenter. Welcome, Lance.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet with y'all.
So you started playing guitar in college, and was it always been a country thing with you?
I've loved country music all my life, but I never played younger. So I took a guitar to college and learned my first few chords on CMT, watching them trying to figure out where they put their hands. And it was a hobby for me. It was never going to be a career. I never wanted to play in front of anybody. It was just something I did on my own. And as life would have it, I worked for the government and traveled around and met a guy that got me on stage one night, and I was horrible. And so I had to figure out how to get better at songwriting. So I Googled songwriting, and I found NSAI, the Nashville Songwriters Association. Made a trip to Nashville in 2008, and that trip changed my life. It made me understand there was a career in writing songs. And I was very bad at it, but it was something I wanted to try to do, and it's worked out pretty good.
So in 2011 you came to Nashville.
Yes, ma'am. Moved here.
What happened since coming to Nashville? How did that road lead to your self-titled album in 2013?
Well, I tried to do my best to make the most of every 30-hour day and every 10-hour week and work my tail off. And I was blessed. I had 2 major cuts and a publishing deal within 18 months. Now, that sounds really great. But the reality of it is those 2 major cuts got on the record, but the record never got released. And then I signed the publishing deal, and within 4 months, the publishing company sold. Now, the blessing is the company that bought it, I had a previous relationship with. And so they said, hey, we're going to keep you on staff, and you're going to come over and write for us. So now I finished out that deal with Parallel Entertainment, and I just re-signed last June. I just in my first year of my new contract with them, 3-year contract. So it was a quick thing because they call this a 10-year town, and to get a publishing deal within 18 months is kind of crazy. But I spent a lot of time here before ever moving here, and a lot of people when I did move here, I'm like, hey, I finally moved here, and they're like, you mean you haven't lived here for 4 or 5 years already? And I'm like, no, I just visit. And they're like, oh, we'd have never known.
You live here now, right?
I do.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
I've been here about 5 years and love it.
And you co-wrote Kelsey Ballerini's hit, Love Me Like You Mean It.
I did.
How did that mean for you to see that record soar?
Oh, my gosh. It's been amazing. I mean, it still is trying to sink in. That was just 4 friends eating pizza on a Monday night, wrote a song. She didn't have a record deal. And then for it to do what it did, it became all 4 writers' first #1 song, the artist's first #1, the producer's first #1, and the record label's first #1. So it was big for so many people. And there were so many people that made that happen. A lot of people, they put the focus on the writers and the artists, but I mean, I can't say enough about Black River and their promo team and the folks out in the field, and just such a team and family effort on that. So it was great. And
so your Google efforts, education paid off.
It did, yeah, it did. I'm happy with that Google search.
Yeah.
Songwriting, life.
So with the people you've worked with or performed with or would like to perform with, what do you learn from these people? What education do you get from them?
Every time I get the opportunity to open for someone or play at a festival with other people, I watch from how they interact with the fans to how they walk on stage, how they hold their guitar, how they put their mic back on the stand, what their band members are doing. Do they move around? Are they entertaining? How they transition between songs. A lot of times I'll catch myself at concerts. When a song ends, I'll start counting, and I'll find out how many seconds they're waiting in between the next song starting, so I'll know kind of the process to make us better. Because right now I'm one of them guys where I'm like, if I don't know how to do it, I'm just going to try, and hopefully it'll work out. And that's worked out pretty good for me.
Because you can't learn that education on Google.
Not at all, no. I mean, you can watch videos and stuff, but being out on the road and just watching them interact with the fans and the band and the stage crew and the people that are picking up the trash. You were talking about Garth earlier, and I got to go backstage with him when he was in Little Rock. And I walked in, the lady opening for him, Karen Rochelle, is a good friend of mine, and her drummer's a good friend. We've written a lot together. And so we were hanging out backstage, and Garth and Trish was there in their sweats, and there was a group of 10 or 15 people. And they said, we only have one rule back here, and it's don't take pictures of me and Trish in our sweats. But here's the catering. Y'all help yourselves. And this was just guests of his. He said, our dressing room's down there. If the door's open, it means come on in. If it's shut, it means I'm probably butt naked. So, changing my britches or something. But No,
Okay, then.
he just gave us. Yeah, sorry to put that in.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh yeah. So and then when he walked away from us, there was a arena attendant fixing trash cans, taking the trash out. And he stopped, and me and Mike were the only two that saw this. He was about 25 feet away from us, stopped, and thanked him and told him if him and the staff wanted to go in there and eat catering, they were welcome. And shook his hand and then walked off, and most people would have just walked right by that person. But that's one thing about Garth, the way he's always treated fans and treated people like people. The few times I've met him, he's talked to me like we've known each other forever. And he's just so genuine, and I think that's why he's had the career that he's had. And I hope to, anything I can pick up from artists like that on the road, I try to, because I want to be the best I can be.
And was it a struggle when you moved here to find that genuine?
Not necessarily.
Feeling?
I've got a pretty good BS meter, so I can tell pretty quick if someone's, just putting on a facade or something. But this town's full of great people. There's a few turds, but for the most part, there's pretty great people. It's a big city, but it's a small town, so.
How do you feel social media, as big as it is, the big advantage to that?
Oh, well, I'm really good at my book and FaceSpace and InstaTweet and all that good stuff.
So I take it's helped you?
It is. It's a way to connect with fans. In the past, you had to go to a show or you had to be on a radio interview, and that was the only interaction you had. Now, I get questions daily from people asking different things. When am I going to come to this place? Or, hey, I heard this song. And, hey, what made you think of this? And I'm really glad to be at the point in my career where I can reply to all of them as me. I don't have anybody working my social media. It's me. When you email me, my phone number's on Facebook, for crying out loud. If people want to get a hold of me, they can get a hold of me. If I don't like the person,
alrighty
that
then.
BS meter goes off, I'll just block that number, Yeah. But I've not had to do that yet. So I want to be as accessible to fans and friends that I can be. And without them, I don't have a career.
That's
true.
True.
And without y'all getting, I'm probably going to meet some new fans from this interview, and that's just great. So thank y'all. If I do meet you, come say hi.
What's in store now for the rest of the year?
Well, next weekend, I'm actually hosting my own music festival in my hometown called Music on the Mulberry that I started last year when another big festival called Thunder on the Mountain that I'd played at previously and was scheduled to play last year with Zach Brown Band and Carrie Underwood and a bunch of others. It canceled 2 weeks before the event happened. It was in my hometown, and I had family members from out of state that had took off work, rented RVs, and so I just took it upon myself to call a venue that I knew had a stage, and I said, hey, I need it. I don't have time to explain. I've got 12 days to put a festival together. And at first, I thought it was just going to be me and a few friends, and it turned into a 3-day, 2-stage, 23-band with 3 national touring acts, helicopter rides, vendors, water slides for the kids, canoeing, kayak, and cornhole. And it about killed me. I lost 28 pounds in 2 weeks.
Not quite the diet you expected,
No,
huh?
yeah, that's the Music on the Mulberry diet, music festival diet. But everybody had so much fun. And I couldn't not do it again this year. And it's funny because for the last couple of years, me and my folks, I'm like, I want to start some kind of little festival in home, and just do it and kind of grow it and small. And it's funny how sometimes when you put a goal out there, you have no idea how it's going to come to fruition. Well, God said, oh, you want a music festival? Here you go. And just tossed it in my lap. And so now this year, it's a $100,000 production, and I started with $0 in the bank. And it's just something where I know, sponsors and hopefully ticket sales are good. And when the numbers come in, I hope I don't lose my butt. But if I do, it'll be worth it, because it's just to see the reaction of all the fans last year, and even the artists. They had so much fun. It was kind of, people said it was kind of like the old fanfare days. After they played, they came out in the crowd and hung out and watched the other artists and would hang out and started playing, throwing frisbees and cornhole and signing at their booth. And it wasn't like a backstage meet and greet kind of setup or have to have a ticket to come meet them. It was just such a
It was
organic,
just like being at an artist picnic.
Yeah, it was so much fun, and so I want to try to keep it. I would love to grow it to where I can get some bigger artists, but I have to have more people to do that. So, but we'll see what happens. So that's my next week thing after I get CMA Fest behind me, and this is my first CMA Fest, so I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store right now. And then it's just back to touring and playing music anywhere and everywhere I can, and I write every day. So,
What influences your writing?
life, just things that happen to me or things I hear about other people, and I love going to the movies, so I can find a lot of ideas from movies. Like Forrest Gump, you get about 20 different titles from that movie right there.
Is it hard being a songwriter, like your mind just never turns off? Is it tough?
No, I think it would be weird if it didn't. I would get really bored, and I'd probably have really bad ADD and OCD if my mind wasn't always going, because then I would be like, oh, you know, now I got to find something to do with my time and my mind and my hands and my feet. But I like it. I'm one of them guys. I've always worked well under pressure. I worked for the federal government for FEMA, traveling the world during disaster work. You know, Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Ike, and we would work 18, 20-hour days, 7 days a week when we were out there. And it was the times when you stopped, where you were like, I could be doing something for someone. And those times drove me nuts. But you had to break, or you would kill yourself. So I'm glad my mind can keep going even when I'm not.
Well, Lance, I want to tell you we've enjoyed this very much.
Thank you so
much. Thank you for
much.
stopping by, and we wish you the best of success. Where can people find you? You said now be serious here.
My website is lancecarpentermusic.com, and I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Just either search Lance Carpenter or some weird name like that, and you'll probably find this ugly mug right here.
Well, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank you so
CMA
much.
Fest.
Appreciate it.